Okay, Ted. Well, let's start off. Where were you born?
I was born in Ellsworth, Kansas,
And what,
November 9th, 1923. So you're talking about the Depression. Why, I was there for it, I'll tell you, because my dad had been or was a very successful retail merchant. He owned three mercantile stores in the small Kansas towns. My two uncles, his brother and his brother-in-law ran two of them, and he ran the one in Ellsworth. But the Depression got him, and he ended up going bankrupt, actually.
yeah,
It was a tough time. We had grasshoppers and dust storms and everything, but I really had a great childhood, because
was it like when you say it's small town? What was roughly the population?
2000,
So that was.
that's small.
Yeah, that's small.
County seat town.
So when were you involved in farming at all?
No,
It was all.
no.
Did you work in the
I
stores
was a
too?
city kid. No, I wasn't old enough.
The
really.
stores were all bust by the time you were.
Yeah, because I was, well, let's see. Dad tried to, after the big stores went bankrupt, he tried to open a men's toggery. In fact, he opened a men's toggery shop.
Tawdry?
Toggery,
Little kids?
no,
Toggery.
men's clothing. That's what they called it.
Yeah, it's a term
Yeah.
I've heard, but I wasn't really. So
Yeah,
it
so
meant,
it was men's clothes, yeah. He carried it. I was what? I was in the 7th or 8th grade maybe then. I was very involved in sports.
which ones particularly?
You name them.
All.
We had a vacant lot across the street from our house, and in the fall it was a football field. In the spring it was a softball field, and then it became a basketball. We put the basketball goal, and we had a good neighborhood, and we would. In our immediate neighborhood, we played with the guys that are down below us a little bit. We were the Boston Baked Beans, and they were the sauerkraut and weenies.
No kidding.
Yeah. So,
And was it always the same guys then on the?
oh yeah.
Uh-huh. And
When I got to be in the 6th grade, probably my best sport was basketball. So I was good enough to play on the junior high school team when I was in the 6th grade. And
so
then played.
was it all one? Did you get was high school and junior high school and different schools?
Oh, there was a grade school that took you through the 6th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And then junior high was up in the same building as the high school. Junior high was 7th and 8th grades. And so I got my freshman year in high school, I got to play a little bit of varsity ball. Probably been better off if I'd played junior varsity or something, but anyhow I did. In the middle of my freshman year, I moved from Ellsworth because my dad and mom are seeking something to do because the toggery shop was not working out. So I moved down to my older brother who was in Lyons, Kansas, which was the next county seat south.
You went to live with your older brother? Or
Uh-huh.
You personally, the whole family?
No, just me.
What was that reason for? That you left?
Well, Dad and Mom didn't know what they were going to do.
The income was that bad?
Yeah, yeah. So Max and Ruth just said, I guess they take me in, feed me or whatever, and clothe me for a while. And so I went down there in the middle of my freshman year.
And this is your dad's brother?
No, this is my older brother.
Your older brother?
Yeah, he's 18 years older than I was. I was a baby by quite a few years of a family of 5 kids. And my brother closest to me was 10 years older than I was. Max was 18 years older. 2 sisters in between them. So.
And when you said, you know, as a kid, you had a great life. What I'm hearing is even though times were tough, as a kid you didn't really pick up on that, or?
Oh yeah.
I mean, what were
yeah,
you?
you know, but everybody else was having a tough time too.
It was, you know, you were just
Yeah.
like everyone else. And
Well, not everybody, but times were tough.
Did the town?
I don't know that I knew completely, but I knew my dad.
I mean, the pressures are really, really severe on parents at those
Oh
times.
yeah, because my dad wasn't young, see, because he was in his early 60s. And that's pretty tough to start over.
Well, I guess.
Yeah. They ended up coming out to California shortly after, because I had my brother next to me in age was out here in California, and Merced. Yeah, Merced. In fact, my dad was in July the 1st of 1942. That was when I just graduated from high school. That May, he was killed in an automobile accident.
Your dad?
Yeah.
At Merced?
Hit by train, yeah.
In Merced? Or near
Outside,
there?
yeah. Outside at some crossing there. It wasn't marked very well. So anyhow, I moved to Lyons and finally adapted to a new environment and school.
So what grade would you have started school in Lyons?
Middle of my freshman year, 9th grade.
9th grade.
Yeah.
What did you think of new school and?
Well, it was tough leaving all my old friends to go to the school, but I adapted. I read a lot of books that first spring until I got acquainted and got involved in athletics there.
And your brother, was he married, single?
Oh yeah, no, Max was married.
Brother married.
Yeah.
And
I had no children. They had no children.
so you kind of fit right in then for having a young.
Yeah. You know, that's not too easy to take in a
Yeah.
15 or
Interrupt
16.
Yeah,
You know.
interrupt that
But
routine.
you know, he was,
Now, so what year would that have been for you when you moved to Lyons?
well, I'll say I graduated 39, I guess, 39, 40, 41, yeah.
39?
Yeah, 39.
Was there any indication at that time that things in the world were getting bad that you remember?
You know, a kid that age is so wrapped up in his own
Yeah, in sports and all
sports and
that.
girlfriends and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. That, yeah, I guess there was.
I mean, can you remember anything that might have alerted you to like what was going on in Europe, even though it was so far away? Or
Well, I know some of the guys were in the National Guard. The older guys were in the National Guard because they didn't get called up till a little later. Like they got called up in 40, didn't they? Maybe 40, maybe early 41.
are these guys you knew at 16? You knew guys in the National Guard?
Oh yeah, because there was an armory there.
Uh-huh. At Lyons.
In Lyons, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Lyons was a little bigger town, really a little better business town. It was.
So
There were a lot of oil oil jobs in Lyons, or oil wells around there. So,
Is that still there? Is that oil business still there?
well,
Is it
yeah,
dried
there's
up?
still a few of them pumping, but that's been, what, 50?
55 years ago.
Oh, yeah, at least, right.
Now, were you still in high school when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor?
Yes, I was
So,
a senior.
so how did you hear?
It was a Sunday afternoon, and I'd been to the movie, and my girlfriend was the ticket seller at the movie, so I always got in free. So I came out of there on a Sunday afternoon. I don't remember that they announced it in the theater. They might have. But
So what was your first? Everyone remembers almost the exact moment they heard,
yeah, I'd just come out of the movie.
and some a friend or something.
And Max, my brother, and his wife had been gone for the day. They were down to Wichita to visit her mother, and he didn't have a radio in his car, so he didn't know about it till he got home. I told him about it.
So you heard it from a friend when you came out of the movie?
Yeah.
So, what were your thoughts then as you heard?
Well, it's awful hard to believe that that Japan would do that. We knew, we'd been reading a little bit about some of the problems that were going on, but
Well, as far as you were 18 now, roughly.
I'd been 18 in, let's see, 40. I was born in 23. Yeah, I was 18 on November the 9th of 1941.
So, as an 18-year-old, and knowing the country did you realize that the attack on Pearl Harbor meant the country was going to war? I mean, did that message come through to you?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think so.
And so, what did you start thinking about as an 18-year-old right out of high school in the country at war? What were your thoughts then?
Well, of course, I graduated in 42, and my brother Max, though he didn't have to because he was really over age and he married, but he joined the Army. And so all four of my siblings had gone to the University of Kansas in Lawrence and graduated from that.
Now, when you say siblings.
My two sisters and two brothers.
Okay.
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 So that's the summer after the summer of 42. After I graduated in May, I went down to Lawrence and through the athletic department got a job working on the building of a defense plant. Sunflower Ordnance or something like that. So I lived down there that summer.
In Lawrence.
In Lawrence. Well, for a while, then my dad got killed, and so I went back up to my sister and brother-in-law's, lived on a ranch.
Now, going back to, can you remember what the defense plant built? What that was going to be?
Well, all kinds of ordnance.
It was an ordnance plant.
Yeah, right.
And so, when you say your dad, when he died, you moved back with Max again?
No, Max is gone.
Max is in the Army now. He's gone in the Army.
Yeah. So I went up with my sister, Marvel, and her husband,
And
who lived on a cattle ranch. He was a cattle rancher. Of course, during those days, he was also teaching school or the principal of the school and all that kind of stuff because the cattle business was not too good.
yeah,
Nothing was too good.
so he's your brother-in-law then?
And my brother-in-law.
Yeah. And did they have kids?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they had my nephew, who
And
was
what was his name?
my
Your brother-in-law.
Bradley Judy. Hell of a guy.
And he had how many kids?
Well, they ended up having, at that point, they only had, well, they had Dick. Dick was only 9 years younger than I am. Then they had Mikey. Mikey was a baby. Mikey died when he was 4 years old from blood disease. I'm trying to think of the name of it.
Well, you know, it's funny how a lot of this, Norm Jones's dad died from TB, his mother died from TB, his brother died from typhoid. And there are a lot of things around.
Oh, yeah.
In those.
They aren't around anymore. This one still is, leukemia.
Yeah.
Leukemia.
And was it a problem then? I mean, did they, with the younger kids, I mean, you were kind of like a big older brother when you got there?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah. And when did your thoughts start turning to you had to go into service?
Well, I started University of Kansas that fall of '42. And for a lot of reasons I wasn't ready for it. My dad had been killed. You know, my mind wasn't on school. So about October, I must have been there about 6 weeks, and I said, and the war's going on, the flag's waving, and all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't doing too well in Spanish and algebra and all those kind of things that I had taken in high school, which I should have. So I went down and joined the Marine Corps.
Now, was this in Lawrence that you joined?
I think I went into Kansas City. Of course, I had to get my mother to sign it, I think, at that point. I would have been drafted before too long if I didn't get in some kind of a B-12 program or something like that.
And was that because you were 18 now and she still had to sign for you?
I think she did.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Don't put that down. I don't remember. I think she did.
Now, why did you pick the Marines?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, was
the
there...
flag was waving, and I think I'd gone to see John Payne, and Here Come the Marines, or some damn thing like that.
Yeah.
And the challenge, they do a good job of putting out a lot of bull,
So in the fall then of 1942,
right,
you're off to boot camp.
Yeah, right.
And how'd they get you to boot camp from Kansas?
Well, we all, they had a group that had signed up, so we all came out on the train.
So
to San Diego.
You got on a train in Kansas City?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, it's kind of interesting when some of the guys, when they were being moved around initially, had to hitchhike. I mean, the government didn't provide them any transportation at all.
Oh, is that right?
They got their thumb and they'd make their way to the next base. Then eventually they started paying their way, but they had to hitchhike around. So you took the train from
Kansas City.
From KC to San Diego.
Uh-huh.
And so then you were with a bunch of guys from Kansas, all from Kansas?
Yeah, most of them were, yeah. I think.
And did you know any of them, or did you just met them as you
No,
went?
no. And in the meantime, while I was waiting to be called, I'd gone back to Lyons and recruited a couple other guys and told them they ought to join the Marine Corps before they got drafted. And I remember we went down to Wichita. That was the closest recruiting thing. And
So-
one of them was a guy who, God, you'd never think he'd pass a physical. He drank. Most of us didn't drink in those days in high school, but Jay did. He passed with no problem. The other guy was a great big hulking guy that played tackle on a football team, and he flunked it. God, he's a great big guy. He flunked it. He never did get called in the service.
No kidding. How long did you have to wait after you joined up before they called you?
I don't remember.
Month, 2 months?
Month?
Yeah,
No.
so it wasn't very long.
It wasn't very long. No.
And on the ride to San Diego on the train, you remember how long that took?
No, I don't really. 2.5, 3 days, I think.
And it was all sit up, you sat in the seat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Now you arrive in San Diego, and I'm sure you were met by...
We were met by the screaming Marine sergeant or something who had a language that was so bad I'd never heard words like that before. They had a bus, and they piled us on a bus, and we went down to the recruit depot. And of course they were piling guys through there, so fast. They needed cannon fodder about that time. They had cut the boot training down to, I think we had 9 weeks, and originally it was 12. And they didn't have any barracks for us, so we lived in tents.
When you got there and were taken to your tents, then kind of what happened? Did they give you physicals, or did they run you through clothing?
Yeah, they did. I remember that. They gave us some shots and cut our hair down to nothing. Gave us some clothes.
Now, were they the old herringbone utilities at that time? Can you remember what?
Well, they were green. Yeah, they were green dungarees. Yeah.
Green. And did they have those big pockets on the sides?
No.
No.
No, those were a little later. Those were.
So you got your green dungarees and
Green underwear.
and your green underwear. Yeah, God, I remember that.
Right.
Now, the beginning of your day was kind of like in boot camp. What would you start out with?
I think it was a bugle call. It didn't give you very much time to get out and get outside, stand at attention or whatever. And of course, then it's
So it was off to chow, or did you go into?
Well, I think we took a little exercise first, and then we went to chow. The food wasn't bad, it was pretty good. They tried to wear you down physically, and mentally. They're trying to make a Marine out of you, supposedly. Physically, it wasn't bad for me because I'd been active in athletics.
Sports. Yeah.
Some of the guys that killed them, didn't kill them, but had a terrible time.
Did they make you try to swim?
Yeah. I think we had to dive in the pool, yeah. I've been swimming since I was a kid, so little kid, so that was no problem.
When did they introduce you to a weapon?
Well, of course, you spend, I can't remember what they issued them to. Of course, we went up to Camp Matthews to the rifle range, and we spent a week up there qualifying for expert or sharpshooter or whatever.
And the weapon of issue in those days was?
I think it was an M1.
You got the M1.
I believe so, yeah.
And
there were still some Springfields around, but
the 03s?
yeah.
I was reading not too long ago about the Marines that originally went to Guadalcanal had 03s.
Right.
And at some point, because the Army already had the M1 at that time, but the Marines didn't.
Oh, that's right.
And the Marines didn't want to give it up. They liked the 03 so well.
That's part of it. Part of it was, as far as supplies were concerned, the Marine were at the bottom of the list for a long time, really.
Yeah.
They still are, I think. But
that's the truth.
no, I think there's some high up Army officers. I read something just yesterday, I think. High up Army people who don't think there should be, they don't think there's a need for a Marine Corps.
No, until, yes.
Guys, I'm going to have Ann join you. She'll probably help write the story.
Okay.
This is Ann. That's Ted.
Hi,
Hi,
Ted.
how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And we're up to in boot training,
Oh, okay.
and they're at Camp Matthews for rifle quals. And so, had you done much shooting as a kid?
I had a 22, but I wasn't into it too much. I've been rabbit hunting a little bit and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but I wasn't in it as much as some of my friends were.
And
But I managed to qualify for, I don't remember,
yeah,
the middle thing.
yeah, marksman or
No, marksman that's just barely passing.
and then
I think
sharpshooter.
I was an expert.
Marksman, expert, and sharpshooter. Is that the way it went?
Yeah.
Yeah, sharpshooter was and did they make you qualify in a handgun of any kind? Did you fire 45?
I don't think I did then. I did later.
Were you ever introduced to the carbine?
Later.
In training, in boot camp?
No, not
Okay.
in boot camp. I don't think it was around, but
Okay.
in that early.
So.
I can't remember about the 45, but later on when I went into the paratroops, I was in the machine guns. So I was an assistant gunner, so that was my weapon, was a 45.
Mhm.
I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with it, but
Most people couldn't.
no.
I couldn't qualify with it until they let me hold it with two hands, and then I was able to hit
I
something
don't
with
know
it.
that I was ever asked to qualify.
When I really got in the Marine Corps, you had to shoot offhand,
Yeah.
and until I could put my other hand on the gun,
When were you in the Marine Corps?
I went in 52 to flight training, then I was a Lance Corporal and had 2 years of college, so then I got into flight training, and then in 54 I got commissioned Lieutenant in the Marine Corps.
Good.
So had 25 years.
Did you spend 25 years there?
Yeah, well, with my Navy service, yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed every day of it. So, they're pushing you pretty hard in boot camp now, and have you?
Well, Guadalcanal was still going on, and they were bringing recruits in there by the busful, you know.
Were they bringing any of the guys back from Guadalcanal as instructors or to talk about Marine tactics or anything like that? Do you remember any of that?
Not in boot camp, I don't remember. So they came around asking you what choice did you want to make, or because they told you what they thought they knew what you were qualified for and all that. And of course, in high school, I'd worked in a bank, so I knew how to type. So they wanted to make a typist out of me. I said, no way. I didn't, a flag was waving, and I said, I didn't come in the Marine Corps to be a typist. So they said, well, you qualified to maybe try out for the paratroops, Marine Paramarines.
Now we didn't have
I know.
paratroopers for very long.
No.
And so you were in a very select group of people.
Very, very select.
Yeah, to go.
There was only one regiment. There were 3 battalions, and well, there was a 4th battalion, 4 battalions
in the paratroop
in the
regiment.
paratroops.
And what was that with the, you were with the 3rd, 4th Marine? Which?
Well, later on, I was in the 5th Marine Division.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, they said you could be try for the paratroops. So I did that. And that was, we ran every place to dinner and lunch and breakfast. And they didn't know what walking was. We just kept running. The guys would pass out and they'd keep running around them. And it was a great big muscle guys that got two, I think.
Yeah, they had no
I
cardiovascular.
don't know what they didn't
Yeah.
have, but I got tired of helping carry them around. 'Cause we had to get back in or we just kept running around them.
Now let me ask, when you finished boot camp, was there like a little graduation ceremony and a parade and all that, or did
Yeah. You marched down and the band was playing a little bit. Or
and
something.
so you got your recognition now, and so did they make you a private first class? Did you get a stripe after or anything?
Not until I got through paratroop.
After you got through paratroopers, you got to be a private first class.
I
Okay.
kept it for 3 years.
As
I didn't behave myself.
the badge of courage. So, okay, so you then after you graduated volunteered for the paratroopers, and then how did that go? You jumped out of C-47s or?
Hell, I don't know.
You know,
I
that's
just
the only thing
jumped
you had.
out of where I followed the guy in front of me.
And were you a part of a squad now and
No.
no? You were just still in training.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you were with a bunch of guys.
that's right.
Just being
class
trained.
after class after class.
And where did you go for your jump training? What field would they take?
Camp Gillespie, outside of El Cajon, outside of San Diego.
Hmm. And there was a runway there at Camp Gillespie?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Well, they had these towers that we trained on, you know, and
Yeah.
took you up on wires and they tripped you off. That was probably, more guys got hurt doing that than they did jumping out of the airplanes, actually. You know. But
Now, when you originally jumped, were you unencumbered? I mean, no backpack, no,
we had 2 parachutes.
yeah.
One we packed ourselves, which was real scary. Then we had an emergency little parachute. The trainers there. Now,
So,
we had some guys there who had come back from Guadalcanal
and
real fast because the Marine paratroops never jumped in action. But the 1st Battalion went in with the Raiders on Tulagi, which is an island outside of Guadalcanal, and Gavutu, they were there. But they went in with the Raiders, so they were
yeah.
used later on the canal also. So some of them would come back,
Hmm.
and they were our instructors and told us about this stuff,
Now,
bad stuff.
how many jumps did you have to make to qualify?
7 sticks in my mind.
Uh-huh. And was the last one with a large force drop, you know, where you did any, or you
No.
just, when you got so many jumps, you were done?
Just our, yeah.
So did you get a wings or anything?
Oh yeah, we got wings, parachute wings.
So you got your parachute wings.
Oh yeah.
And so there was another march, another ceremony, or did they pin those on, or did they just, can you remember how you got your wings?
I think we got to march in a little bit of a parade, but not much. Because then we were assigned to I signed up for a machine gun. And of course that was 30 caliber machine gun, because that was what we were going. The most you really could jump with. You couldn't air-cooled 30. So then we went to Camp Elliott, and we were in a replacement company, and we did some training there, but we were a replacement company, and we weren't there very long. I mean, there was no...
At Camp Elliott.
Yeah, at Camp Elliott. And there wasn't any leave or anything like that. They didn't even talk about that.
Did you ever have a chance, from the time when you finished boot camp or any of this training, to ever get any leave at all, or were you just
weekend passes?
Just weekend passes.
No.
And was going over the border into Mexico of interest in those days, like it became, or is?
Yeah, but I don't think I did it then.
Downtown San Diego. And
oh yeah, downtown San Diego, and of course I had my brother Bob, who lived up in Santa Barbara, so I went up to see him on a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But that was about it. Anyhow.
Well, now let me digress a little bit. Your mother went to live with a brother, and or
No.
Your dad came out to Merced, and your mother was.
She went with Dad out to Merced when he was killed out there.
So what happened to your mother after?
Oh, she went back to Kansas.
She went back to Kansas.
And she was a house mother at Washburn University in Topeka for a while. At a V12 program where she was a house mother for a bunch of guys who were still going to school, but they're all signed up.
So, but while you're in all this training, she's still alive back in Kansas?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you are an assistant machine gunner.
Right.
And you're the Gammo guy, and you got a 45, and you're through your 7th jump. You get your wings. What happens?
We go to Camp Elliott and do some more training as far as machine gunning is concerned. Then they put us on a ship.
Did you fire the gun, the machine gun also, or?
Oh yeah.
So
they wanted me to know how to do it, because
Yeah.
the other guy got bumped off or something. So they put us on a ship.
Now, when you say us, this is just a whole bunch of Marines with no unit assignment yet, or are you in a unit?
We were a replacement.
You're just a replacement draft.
Yeah.
Okay. So how was it aboard ship? What did you have for
Well, I've always had a weak stomach, so it wasn't that happy an occurrence, because.
So how many bunks were on top of each other were you?
Oh God, they had them stuck up there. I guess there were 5 high or 6 high. We sailed, but so that was March. They got me overseas real fast. Hell, I'd only been in the Marine Corps since November, and I was on my way overseas by what? End of March, 1st of April,
And
something like that.
what was it? How'd they feed you aboard ship? Did you have certain hours for certain groups, or did everyone in there just show up?
Lots of rice. No, you had certain times.
Certain times, and
Yeah, lots of rice and lots of.
was it hard to get up on the above deck?
No.
Where you get some fresh air? They make you stay down?
No, they were pretty good about that.
And so you could get up above deck?
Yeah, that's where I spent most of my time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd probably even try to sleep up there for what
Yeah,
too
I
cold.
did. Right.
And so, where did you hit? Where was the first place the ship docked?
Well, I started to say, we didn't have complete control of the ocean in those days. We must have gone, it took us 30 days, I think, we were aboard ship. We went clear down south of the tip of South America before we cut across. And we went to New Caledonia. The first place we docked was Noumea. Noumea, that's the capital of New Caledonia.
Can you remember the ship's name you were on? Yeah.
I don't know, these guys that remember that stuff, maybe you do, but I don't remember all that stuff.
Well, it's funny what some people remember.
Oh, I know, I got a good friend, he remembers everything, he remembers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think every time he went to the head almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean. And so,
But that wasn't me. I was just
yeah.
trying to get along. That's all.
Did did you have guys now at this point where you're really bonding with and you wanted to get to stay with?
Yeah.
And you know, really hoped that when you got there, you could be assigned together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what happened in New Caledonia? You docked there.
Well, then they put us on some trucks and took us clear up in the mountains because that's where the paratroops are training and are recuperating. And we were replacements to the 3rd Battalion. So there were 3 battalions of paratroops overseas at that point. They were all there in New Caledonia. I can't remember the name of the camp now, right offhand. But anyhow, it was hell and gone up in the mountains.
What was the weather like there?
It wasn't bad. It was pretty temperate there. It rained quite a little bit. We ran all over those damn hills up and down, and, you know. So we sang as we ran.
Well, that takes a lot of energy too.
Yeah, but you know, it's kind of, it makes time go by. You know.
Yeah. Were they talking much about the little old Nophalai gypti mosquito in those days when you hit New Caledonia with the malaria, etc.?
No, of course we had some. I guess I don't think they had many mosquitoes, much malaria in New Caledonia.
Because the guys at Guadalcanal.
Oh, that was terrible.
Took it in the ear with malaria.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we were taking Ataburn yet.
Were there rangers there from Guadalcanal teaching then in the?
Oh yeah. Well, the 1st Battalion had been there, so.
So they were
yeah.
They were back at New
They
Caledonia.
were back in New Caledonia.
Yeah. And so were you starting to?
Because Guadalcanal was all over with now.
Now Guadalcanal's over.
Yeah, the Army was occupied it
Yeah.
after.
And it was still pretty tough for the Army guys. The Marines and the Rangers and the paratroopers had it a lot tougher, but the Army guys didn't have it that easy either, as I remember.
No, I think they had to go clean some things up, but the 1st Marine Division's the one that did most of the original fighting, particularly when there weren't any supplies, you know.
Yeah.
They were left there to
Get on
get
their
on
own.
all by themselves, you know. There for a while, the Navy took off.
That's probably why they fed you guys so much rice, because they knew you might have to learn how to eat it.
I guess. So, New Caledonia, and then we then left to New Caledonia, went to Guadalcanal.
Still as a replacement.
No, I'm attached to L Company of the 2nd Battalion, or the 3rd Battalion of the paratroops.
Okay, so L Company, 3rd Battalion, and what was your regiment, do you remember?
1st Parachute Regiment.
1st Parachute Regiment, I should remember that, that's the only one you had.
That's all there is. There ain't no more. Well, there was a 4th Battalion back training back east on the East Coast, but they never got overseas. They got to go later as a part of the 5th Marine Division. But so we went to Guadalcanal. We were there for a while.
And
there was some sick Japs running around in the hills, and there was a bedtime Charlie came over and dropped a bomb once in a while.
were there still Marine fighters there at Guadalcanal?
Oh yeah. We had control of the air there pretty much now. Yeah. Then we went up to Villa La Vella.
Can you remember V-I-L-L-A?
Yeah.
L-A-V-I-L-L-A? Villa La Vella?
Yeah, E-L-L-L-A, yeah.
V.
Yeah.
V-I-L-A. And what was Villa La Vella?
It was controlled by New Zealand troops. They were in charge of it.
It's an island.
It's an island, yeah. It's another island in the Solomons. There's still a few sick Japs running around up in the hills there. I didn't see any of them there. But again, we got bombed a little bit on occasion. So this is before Bougainville, okay? The 2nd Battalion of the paratroops went up and raided a little island of Choiseul, or Swazoo, whichever way you want to pronounce it, to make the Japanese think that we were going to invade Swazoo rather than Bougainville. And they had a kind of a tough time up there. They finally got off on submarines, but they chased some Japs around, and the Japs chased them, and all that kind of stuff. But that was the 2nd Battalion.
Was the full battalion went in?
Yeah.
So they had 4 companies?
Yeah.
Were they reinforced with anything?
Not much.
I mean, did they have any artillery or?
No. Oh, no.
No, just.
No, it was a raid. It
Was just a raid, huh?
Yeah.
Would they sign any additional weapons companies to something like that, or?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't believe so. They might have had a weapons company.
No engineers or anything, just.
No, they just went in there.
They were just.
Yeah.
By their bloody selves and went in.
Yeah. It served the
Now,
purpose.
How'd they get them ashore? What kind of
It went in on rubber boats, I think.
rubber boat?
Yeah.
Off of transport?
No, off of LST. No, or Higgins. What was Kennedy on?
PT boats.
PT boats.
Yeah, they were at Tulagi.
Oh, they
And then
were
they
out
went
in
up to
there.
the Russell Islands. They were up in the Russell Islands.
Well, they were up there along Choiseul, I think, too.
Mm-hmm. So they put them on PT boats and took them in.
Yeah. And then got them off there, too.
With PTs or subs?
I don't know. I can't
Yeah.
remember. I think
Okay.
maybe it was a little bit of both.
Probably, yeah.
And they lost quite a few guys there. So then, they must have gone back to Vella, or Guadalcanal, the 2nd Battalion. But the 1st and the 3rd Battalions then went into Bougainville and were attached to the 3rd Marine Division. And the Raiders and us were attached to the 3rd Marine Division in Bougainville. And Bougainville was a terrible place. Rained all the time, mud and earthquake. New Year's Day, my buddy and I were in this foxhole. We heard everything shaking. I saw the trees. We looked up and saw the trees shaking. We got out of there, and our foxhole caved in.
Oh, okay. So, let me back up a little bit. When you landed at Bougainville, then you were on a transport, a troop transport, or how did you?
LST.
You were on an LST.
Yeah.
And so did the LST go all the way into the beach and drop its ramp?
Yes.
And you guys went ashore
Yeah,
that?
we were not opposed.
You weren't opposed at Bougainville?
We
And
weren't.
Okay.
I don't. The Raiders and part of the 3rd Division had already been there. I mean, they were there.
Okay, so you were
We were not.
reinforced.
We were not in the
Initial assault.
initial landing,
Yeah. And
but we were misused badly.
was Merrill, were the Raiders from Merrill?
I don't know.
They were from that, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so you come ashore with your battalion, and where is the first time that your battalion gets used in a combat situation?
I don't remember the name of the trail or anything like
Yeah,
that,
but
we went up on the line, and then we made a night march to go over and extend the line someplace. It was raining like crazy, and I'm carrying this damn machine gun, and my gunner, who's 6'5", he's got this little tripod on his shoulder. Here I am, 150 pounds or something like that, carrying this damn thing. and he didn't offer to carry it. We're slipping and sliding, going up these hills. That's why the next time I got a chance, I got out of the machine guns.
Yeah.
But we were misused there.
In what way?
When we were relieved from the line, one of the line companies, 21st Marines, they brought in 50 caliber machine guns and were much closer together than we were. We were kind of left out, and we were lucky we got out of there.
You were the end of the line?
Yeah.
So you were on the flank of
Yeah,
left or right flank? And
no, we didn't get hit as badly as A Company did, but we didn't have the weapons for that kind of an operation, really.
You were too lightly.
Too lightly,
Yeah.
you know.
You guys are, the rest of the guys have, how many machine guns would be, say, in a company? Would each squad have a machine gun?
Yeah, we were attached to squads.
So
We had a machine gun platoon, and then we were attached to certain squads.
would you have more than one machine gun with a squad?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Probably not. You know,
No.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
And so, when was the first time you fired a shot in anger? Can you remember that?
Well, during the night in Bougainville, I don't know if we hit anything or not. But
Were they popping flares off? I mean, could you see anything?
We were.
You were firing flares, huh?
Yeah.
And
But, Bougainville, as far as number of casualties that we were involved in, wasn't too bad. It was the conditions. It was terrible. God, just terrible.
wet and rainy and slimy.
Muddy. And it was rather mountainous because we were slipping and sliding that night. We made that night march. But anyhow,
So how long were you there before they pulled you out?
they put us back in reserve. We were there. We weren't there too long. Might have been there 3 weeks, 4 weeks maybe.
And when they put you in reserve, did they leave you there in Bougainville, or did they take you
Oh
somewhere?
yeah, no,
You were in reserve at Bougainville.
yeah.
Was there a camp or something that they took you to, or just?
No, just you were just backed away from the lines a little bit.
And
Dug your box. That's where the earthquake happened. That was New Year's.
of 40,
That'd be New Year's of 43.
43.
No, 44.
Already to 44?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. New Year's of 44.
Yeah, because I'd gone overseas in the late spring of 43,
Mm-hmm.
New Caledonia.
In Guadalcanal.
Yeah.
Okay. So then,
They relieved us and they took us back to Guadalcanal. And they said, there are going to be no more raiders. There are going to be no more paratroops. You're going back to the States to be the nucleus of a new division, to give this new division some people that had a little experience. So that's what they did. See, I wasn't overseas very long that time.
so you went back on a transport from
Guadalcanal.
Guadalcanal. And
Back to San Diego.
now, did that take another 30 days to get
No.
back? No, they went a little quicker this time.
Yeah, things have changed a little bit.
And so you're in San Diego.
We got to leave.
And how long a leave did they give you?
We had 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah.
So you got back to Kansas,
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
another 3-day train ride.
Well, it must have been. Yeah.
And so,
But it was a little different.
did you go to Lawrence, or did you go to which of all the places you lived as a kid? Which one did you take your leave at?
I think I saw all of them.
You went to every one,
I
huh?
went to where my mother was to start with,
Uh-huh.
in Topeka.
And
And then I went over to Lawrence where I'd gone to school. See a girlfriend there. And then I went up to Brad Marvel's. And they lent me a car, so I went down where I Ellsworth and Lyons and so forth. So I saw the whole thing.
Now, I'm just curious, and what ribbons or someone who had been through your period of the war would have been worn by a person at that time? What decorations? What? I don't know much about World War II ribbons, and that's why I'm asking. Can you remember any of the names?
Well,
of them?
South Pacific, I don't remember.
Yeah, I'm just curious because.
Battle Stars, I think we got 2 Battle Stars for South Pacific from that trip, maybe, yeah. Considered good. I had a good conduct medal, yeah.
That's something most guys weren't too proud of.
I got rid of it later.
Yeah.
Didn't brag about that
Yeah,
one.
you're gonna be a Marine with a good conduct medal.
Anyhow.
So you're back San Diego and you're forming a new division.
5th Marine Division.
5th Marines.
Right.
Okay.
Which consisted of the 26th, 27th, and 28th Marine Regiments. And they had them divided up. They knew where they were going to put everybody. We couldn't be in the same battalion that any of our officers been in, and we divided us up. And unfortunately, the 28th Marines didn't get to stay in barracks. The other ones did, 27th and 26th. 28th were out in tent camp.
And then you were in the 28th.
I'm in the 28th. Tent camp 1.
And what camp are you located at this point?
Pendleton.
Pendleton?
Camp Pendleton.
Pendleton, okay.
Everybody was Pendleton,
Yeah.
by that time.
Yeah.
That's a big place.
And has there been an upgrade now in the amphibious vehicles that you go ashore in? I mean, when you land on an LCI or
Later, oh yeah.
I mean,
when we had Iwo, we were in ones that we'd never seen.
So are they training in these new vehicles, in these new Amtraks and things yet, or?
Oh yeah.
Are you?
When you get to yeah.
So at Camp Pendleton, do they have just Higgin posts, or do they have the Amtraks, the alligators, or can you remember?
I don't think we practiced. I don't remember any practice landings.
Okay.
At Pendleton.
Okay.
Because we later went to Hawaii and we made some there.
Okay.
Practice landings.
So how long did it take you to form the 5th Marines?
Well, there was some there when we got there. Some recruits, new Marines.
Yeah.
Okay. And they scattered us out in different companies and so forth. But I was in the same company with probably 15 people that I had known previously.
A couple hundred.
Yeah.
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 Now, what do you think so far? You had a lot of different officers, second lieutenants, captains, company commanders. What are you thinking of the officer corps at this point?
Well, in the paratroops, they were great.
They were good guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And how about your gunnies and sergeants?
That's another story.
In what way?
We had a gunny in the paratroops. Man, he looked like the Marine. He looked like the bulldog.
Yeah.
And he was sharp, man. He's sharp, and he could give orders, and he was great. He got over in Bougainville. He had the guys dig the deepest foxhole of anybody ever saw. He never came out of it. The captain had to relieve him, actually.
Uh-huh.
Take him down and put him on a boat.
I hear what you're saying.
Which was a real shock, because he was my ideal.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a Marine there,
Yeah.
He was until somebody shot him. Gun went off. But he ended up on Iwo, and he he wasn't in my company fortunately, but he must have had a hell of a foxhole because he's one of the only guys that didn't get hit. And he got some kind of, I don't know, Bronze Star or something like that, for Iwo. But anyhow, so those kind of things happen, you know.
When did you kick your MOS as a machine gunner?
When I got to Pendleton, the 5th Marine Division,
How were you able to write that out of your record? That's pretty hard to get rid of.
I don't remember, but I think I told him I didn't want to be in the machine guns anymore. So I became a M1 guy.
Now, has the BAR been in action now?
Oh yeah, BAR is.
Did you go into Bougainville with BAR? I mean, did your Rangers have?
You know, I don't remember. Oh, we didn't have them. I don't think we didn't have them in the Philippines.
Uh-huh.
But I was in the 5th Marine Division. Like I said, we were in that tent camp. And they started putting us through the same damn train that we'd had year before. There were quite a few of us that took a little extra vacation. A friend of mine we'd gone through paratroop training and we'd gone through Bougainville and so forth. We took a little extra trip. My brother had helped me buy a car, so I sold him half of it to finance the trip. And we went back. He was a Mormon, Jack Mormon.
Now, what's a Jack Mormon?
Jack Mormon is one who doesn't follow all the rules.
Okay.
They smoke and drink and all that kind of bad stuff. He was from Utah, so we left on a Saturday. We went up to see all his folks and his girlfriends up in Utah. And I had a 40 Willies.
Yeah. I remember it.
Then we went back to Kansas. And
now, are you on a pass or are you just gone?
we're in the weekend pass.
On a weekend pass to
Yeah,
Utah and to Kansas.
Yeah.
On those
we
roads.
weren't AWL, we were AOL. There was an awful lot of the other guys who
Yeah.
were gone too.
Yeah.
Because, so anyhow, we went back and saw everybody we wanted to see and all that kind of stuff. And we came back and we got into San Bernardino and we sold the car. Because we're not going to need it anymore, we knew that. So we got back to Camp Pendleton, went in, the top sergeant says, "I thought you guys would be in tonight." Because it'd been 29 days since we'd been gone.
A weekend pass.
We didn't want to be gone 30, or we'd be declared deserters.
Yeah.
So we spent, all of our friends were in the brig, so we spent 30 days in the brig. I guess it was 30 days, something like that, terrible. And our job was to go around and pick up the trash around all the different company areas. And our friends would throw us candy bars and all that kind of stuff. So we missed 60 days of great training there at Camp Pendleton, right? And he and I were both supposedly supposed to be fire team leaders. Remember what that was? That meant you were in charge of 2 or 3 other guys. One of them was a BAR man, and
Yeah.
one of them was another rifleman, and you were a rifleman. Well, we got the job, but we never got that extra stripe. I never got it. So,
What was it? You have a 5-man fire team? Was that what it was?
I think it's 4 men.
4-man fire team.
And 1 BAR man, the fire team leader, and 2 riflemen.
Man, that BR was heavy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Probably a lot less than machine gun, but boy, it was still heavy.
Oh, no, it's less than machine gun. So, anyhow.
So you're back, you're a fire team leader, and you're about ready to go somewhere else again.
Yeah, we went to Hawaii,
Okay.
the Big Island.
And this again is on a troop transport, or no?
Yeah.
You're on a transport.
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Cause they took the whole division. Went over to Camp Tarawa, where the 2nd Division had trained before they hit Tarawa.
Yeah, my brother-in-law was in that group.
Oh, was he? Yeah.
He
No,
hit
that was a mess too.
He hit Tarawa, he hit Tinian, he hit Saipan, and I think
Okinawa.
then he got damn near killed on Okinawa.
Yeah,
He's a disabled vet, but hell of a guy.
yeah.
Anyway,
Anyhow,
you're in Hawaii at Camp Tarawa.
right. We're hiking up all these volcanoes. I think they're getting us ready to,
Is that Maui that you're on?
no, Big Island.
Oh, you're on Oahu. Or, I mean,
Hawaii.
Hawaii, you're on the Big
Yeah.
Island, Hawaii.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Parker Ranch.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. We hiked all over that Parker Ranch. So anyhow, we get through all that good training. We have some, I think we made a mock landing on Maui. Got in some landing craft.
Were they Higgins boats or were
And
they?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't think they were the same thing that we ended up going in on Iwo, but I was too seasick at that point, I think.
So after your, how long did it take you guys on Maui then to, are you training for a specific landing at this point? I mean,
Yeah,
you
we
may
didn't
not-
know it.
You didn't know it, but you're getting ready to go to Iwo Jima
Oh,
at this
yeah,
point.
that we'd already been picked to go there.
So the fifth.
That's why we were training in volcanic ash or dust. We were climbing some of the slopes of Mauna Kea or somebody there, I don't know who it was, on Hawaii. Because,
Now you're a brand new division, the 5th Marine Division, and they pick you to be the assault division at Iwo Jima? Are you in the?
well, we're in the 4th Division.
Oh, you're in
The 4th and 5th Division were the assault divisions on Iwo.
and so.
Well,
but
because
you're-
we weren't completely new people. I mean, we had a lot of experience.
Because they formed the 2nd Marines in 1943, I think. As I remember looking at their.
No. 2nd Division went into Guadalcanal after the 1st Division.
So
2nd Division was on Guadalcanal in combat.
I just sent in an application to get my brother-in-law literature from the 2nd Marines. And they didn't list anything earlier than 1943 on the application. They started out with Tarawa and they didn't put Guadalcanal on it. I'm gonna check.
No, they were there.
Okay, go ahead, I'm sorry. So you don't know it, but you guys are training for Iwo Jima.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, they got us going in certain directions and doing all that kind of stuff. And, they knew what they were doing, but we didn't know what they were doing. Or we didn't know what we were doing either.
So how long would this training have lasted before they normally they didn't leave you much free time? I mean, you were trained and gone.
Yeah, no, we were there a while. Let's see. When did we get there? I forgot. We left there in January. I don't remember exactly when we got to Hawaii. We were there for Christmas. Anyhow, we
So that
loaded ship.
That would have been Christmas of what, 44?
Right,
Christmas of 44
right.
in Hawaii. And then at some point after that in the winter of 45,
Well, we loaded ship in probably early January, and we loaded transport, and we went down to Saipan, Guam, down in there, Saipan, I guess it was. And there we got on LSTs, and we rode the LSTs up to Iwo Jima. And we had ducks, I guess we call them,
Yeah,
landing craft.
the old truck with
Yeah,
a propeller on it.
yeah, that's what we hit the beach with.
In the ducks.
The ducks, the salt companies did.
Now, how much of a company could you put in one duck?
Not much. I don't know, what were there, probably 30 guys in there, something like that.
Because I remember the duck was just a deuce and a half
Yeah,
that they turned into an amphibious truck.
I don't know.
Okay, so roughly,
There were
Probably took-
25, 30 guys. in
probably took 4 of them to take your company in.
there. Yeah, at least.
Yeah. And these ducks, then did they come up to the transports and you guys go down the cargo nets into the
No,
ducks?
no. We were an LST, so they came out
They drove out then?
they
came
drove out.
So you
We
loaded
drove
up?
out. Yeah, we loaded up down in the bottom of the ship,
Yeah.
got in the things, and then they dropped them, away we went.
And can you remember at what point you guys, when you left Guadalcanal, or
Hawaii,
where you went from Saipan?
yeah.
When you left, at what point between Saipan and Iwo Jima did you know that you were part of the
On the
assault?
way up there,
Well, on the way to Iwo Jima.
yeah, they had plastic, that wasn't plastic, paste drawings of it.
Mhm.
So we were, though we didn't know it, we'd been practicing the same maneuvers that they showed us what we were gonna do when we got to Iwo. Because I was in the 28th Marines, and our job was to cut off Mount Suribachi. We were on the
There's a map.
left side.
Does that look familiar at all to you?
Yeah. Sure.
Um,
Yeah, this is where we landed, right in here.
right below Mount Suribachi?
Right. That's right, the 4th Division. The 4th Division and the 26th and 27th Marines landed to the right of us. We lit here.
This thing's bouncing up and down and I don't want it to,
Oh, that's all right. Oh, you want me to point at that?
I want to make it a little steadier so that when someone watches this, it won't be bouncing like that. I'm sorry. Let's go back and, this, from what I'm reading here, is the top of Suribachi across here? Does that look right to you?
Well, Suribachi's down here. That isn't, it's down here at the end, down at the little end.
Oh, okay.
This is on the left side of that picture of that map?
Yes, that's not a very good picture. I'm surprised there's not better pictures here. Did you hear what I said about the guy that wrote this book?
No, I did not.
Good book. Have you read it? No.
We had the
Yeah.
tapes in there.
Anyhow, he did a good job. He did a lot of research. He did a lot of research. He was the, here we are. He was the son of one of the guys who raised the first flag. See here. We lit on Green Beach 1.
So Suribachi's up here.
No, Suribachi's
Oh, it's
here.
right here.
Right
So
here.
you're looking right down on you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So our job of the 28th Marines was to cut this sucker off,
Okay.
clear across.
Let me see what I can do with this and see if it shows up at all in here. Let's see if I
Not showing up at all?
can, not without moving.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
there it goes.
So we're talking about
Green one.
right
Green
here.
1.
Green 1. And Suribachi is right here. And then this is the whole island. There's the airfield, you can see it. So 28th Marines went in here at Green 1. So,
I guess this presupposes to show the different fortifications of the Japanese are shown in these dots.
and how was the landing itself? Were you opposed as you went in?
Oh, yeah.
So they had everything zeroed in pretty good, didn't
Oh,
they?
yeah. They're looking right down our throats.
And when, from the time you left the LST, at what point did you start taking fire?
I don't remember that we got any fire approaching the beach as far as, but there was some going on. We weren't hit.
Your
But
particular,
I had my head down. I wasn't worried about anybody else. I think it was the only time I ever got seasick
was going in there, huh?
was going in, right? I was too damn scared, probably.
Yeah.
So our first battalion, I was in the second battalion. First battalion was to run across the island and get over to the other side and cut this off. We were to follow them in and then turn towards Suribachi, because it was the 28th Marines Regiment job was to take Suribachi. Our other divisions and the 4th divisions came in and turned and went the opposite direction. They were to take the airfields.
Yeah.
Because that's the only excuse for taking the damn place, because it wasn't worth anything otherwise.
Yeah.
Was to protect the bombers that were going up to bomb Japan, and to put some of our own fighters there. But
When you,
they're just pulling out of their holes when we came in.
was there a large bombardment and aircraft and, were you up on deck watching any of that, or you were down?
Oh yeah, when we saw some of it coming in, when we were coming in our landing craft.
It's going over your,
Oh yeah, they bombed the hell out of the place, not enough, but
so it's pretty noisy, and it probably smells a little like cordite, and
oh yeah.
and what's it like when you jump out of that thing? Are you on dry land?
Well, there was it's like sand almost. It's because it's volcanic ash, and there's a rise that you have to go up, and you start digging with your fingernails, trying to dig yourself a hole to crawl into, because there's no way to describe
Yeah.
landing on Iwo, because several years ago, I had a survey sent to me from the Marine Historical Society, and they wanted to know if we'd been properly trained. What did I think of the training? And I wrote back and I said, yeah, I think I had pretty good training, but there was no way that you could train anybody for Iwo. I mean, it just, that evening, the lieutenant asked me to go around and count how many guys we had left in our platoon. Infantry platoon is about 50 guys, 49, 50. I could only find 19. 3 or 4 showed up the next morning. They'd gotten separated and spent the night with somebody else. But so we had at least 50% casualties on the beach.
This your company or
My platoon.
your platoon?
And I think the company had just as many. I don't know why they wouldn't have.
Yeah. It was a bloodbath, no question about it.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Now,
They were looking down our throat.
when you're in a situation where you're trying to find something to shoot at, what are you seeing that is in front of you that you know you've got to get rid of? What are you seeing? Pillboxes? Are you seeing people?
No, you're not seeing anything
You're not seeing anything.
except more, not on the beach. Not on that first day. I didn't see anything. And besides that, I couldn't shoot my rifle anyhow because it was all filled up with volcanic ash. Every time I hit the ground, started digging, the ash would come up and get. My fire team, the only one that worked was the BAR, and that was the indent there. And he'd been put in a brig in Camp Pendleton because he didn't keep his BR clean enough. So of course we had a sick joke about that. And just, that damn thing of yours is used to being filthy like that, but it was the only one that was fired. We finally solved it by pouring water down the barrel of the gun of our rifles. And of course, if you'd done that when you were in training, they would have let you have a little break time. But
Well, when it's the first night, you're in volcanic ash, were you able to get off the beach and up into anything?
oh yeah, we
So how far inland did you get the first night? The first night from the beach?
did we.
Yeah, your fire team. How far
Well,
inland?
we weren't supposed to get too far in. 'Cause
Yeah.
we were on the water side was our company assignment. But we got a line across there, and we must have been I can't tell you exactly, but we had the head of the thing cut off,
Yeah.
supposedly. At least we had people there.
At this point, you didn't know about. They had a lot of underground tunnels and things.
Oh yeah.
And so you didn't know about any of that stuff anyway at this time, did you?
Well, we knew they were pretty well dug in. They had a lot of. We didn't know how much they had because they really undermined that place. They had tunnels that ran. Sometimes they'd get behind us, and we thought we'd gotten them. And then next days, coming up. And D+1 was almost as bad. I think we gained 125 yards that day. And we had to. Fortunately, we had to control the air, and our tanks couldn't move. They had a terrible time getting up the slope from the beach, but some of them got there, thank God.
Did they have the tanks with the
Flamethrower?
Flamethrower on
They
it.
sure did.
And
What a terrible weapon.
yeah,
Yeah, we had some toasted Japs around there, I'll tell you.
my brother-in-law always called them crispy critters.
Yeah.
When the tanks came in.
Yeah.
The second day, the sun comes up,
D+1?
D+1, and you're looking up that hill in front of you
Yeah.
called Mount Suribachi.
We carried fluorescent panels. Each fire team had a fluorescent panel that we put out in front of our lines, and so that the Navy bombers and Marine pilots could strafe and bomb, but out beyond the panels, and they didn't get us too often, at least. And but D+1, as I said, it was a terrible day. I think we gained 125 yards and lost quite a few guys again.
And at this point, are you even able to identify where the enemy fire is coming from? I mean,
Sometimes, yeah.
and these pillboxes that are marked all over that map, I mean, are you maneuvering against these points of fire? I mean,
We're trying to.
And as you lose guys, you know, you lose your ability to attack. What are you
Well,
doing?
Well, you're just doing whatever you can. That's about all you can do at that point. I didn't see a Jap until, really see one, until D+2 or D+3. You know,
Yeah. Now, was he running or firing at you? Or
I climbed up a thing, because I thought it was a pillbox of some kind or other. And I looked down, and this Jap looks up at me. We're both scared to death. I pull a hand grenade and throw it down in there, and he throws one. And I slide on back down here, and his doesn't go off. I heard mine go off. But then I told the lieutenant, I said, we better see if we can take this thing out. He says, I'll call and have heavy weapons or somebody come and do it. Because we were supposed to be circling, by this time, we were circling around the island. We were going clear around here.
You're still on the shoreline or up?
We were, yeah. The other battalion was coming around like this.
Mhm.
We were gonna meet. We were circling.
But you're still near the water. You haven't started.
We are, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So everyone's still, you know, the bad guys are still above you.
Oh, yeah, nobody's tried to climb this thing yet.
So you're still at sea level going around trying to join up now.
That day, yeah.
So that's the 26th and 27th that are coming around the regiments, or you know?
No, that's all the 28.
All the 28.
Just different battalions.
Okay. Okay.
26th and the 27th are
They're
all
all going across the airfield.
along with the 4th Division.
Yes.
They're trying to get in. The 3rd Division came in, I don't know, 3rd or 4th day, because they were in reserve.
So you're doing all this with 4 companies? 2 companies maybe going one way and
Yeah,
two coming the other? Well,
well,
that's not very many people,
not really.
particularly when you're taking casualties.
Yeah. No, I don't think we didn't have any replacements then, but we got some later. Yeah, no, that was a 28th job.
So how long did it take you then to join up with the rest of the battalion? Did
Your battalion, you mean?
did you have, your battalion was going around on both sides, is that the way I understand it?
Yeah, right.
So at some point you're gonna meet. Did that get accomplished? Did you
Yeah,
act?
yeah.
And can you remember how long it took to do that?
We did it gotta be the 3rd day, D+3.
And I'm sure they're taking casualties like you were.
No doubt.
And so when you get together, you've been out there fighting 3 days and
Yes. Yeah.
you're losing men at, you know, 30–40% casualties.
Well, by that time, I think we were probably down to, 40%, 30% maybe, because there wasn't anything as bad as D-Day, but they were pretty bad. One of my best, well, that's beside the point. Anyhow, we got the thing circled, and on D+4, the night of D+3, we spent down at the bottom of the volcano, right down in here someplace. And D+4, my squad leader came around and says, how'd you like try to climb this thing? And dumb. I was so tired and so, I don't know, pissed off, I guess, excuse me,
Yeah.
by this point, of what was going on. I was ready to try it, It was a dumb thing to do, but I said, sure, let's do it. So he got George Mercer. George is the guy there
Let me move this.
with a submachine gun. He and I, we'd been together in the paratroops. And of course, he's got his Tommy gun there. He'd been in the same company long, and so had Watson, the sergeant. We'd all been in the same company. And of course, the Indian with the BAR, he's just a young recruit. He's my BAR man in my fire team.
And
So, I don't know if I thought twice about it, I probably wouldn't have gone, because it was a volunteer type of thing, actually. I found out later he'd been turned down a couple other places. Smarter guys or something. Anyhow, so we took off and we started climbing that thing, and we'd go
now, how many guys are doing this?
four.
Four.
At four.
That you four guys are going up Mount Suribachi,
Right.
and no one else is going but you four.
They're firing machine guns over the top of our heads to keep the Japs' heads down,
I see.
supposedly.
And how high do you have to go to get to the top of this?
Well, I think it was 565 feet or something like that, and it was all volcanic ash, because I remember we'd take 2 steps forward and we'd slide back 1, because we didn't go up any trail.
I mean, have you seen anything to fire at, or
No.
you're just climbing?
We're just climbing.
You're
We
just
had our
climbing.
guns ready. We were ready to be shot at any point. And
Okay.
we're shot at least.
Yeah.
We kept going, and we got to the top and looked around and looked down in the bottom of the volcano. Never got shot at. We turned around and slid back down.
Point out, you know the names of all these guys. Could you name these in the picture up here, including yourself? Could you point those out for me?
Well, there's our squad leader,
What was his name?
Watson, Sherman Watson.
Sherman Watson. Okay.
He's still alive.
Where does he live?
He lives in Lakeland, Florida.
Okay.
I'm in the middle. This is George Mercer. George was from Iowa, and he got killed later on Iwo. And this is Louis Charlot. He was an Indian from Montana, and he got killed later.
So, you're, in a sense, your whole battalion is around the bottom of Suribachi, and you four guys climb up to see if anything's up there all by yourselves.
Yeah, so apparently there was a story later that D Company had sent a patrol up. They didn't get up there, but some guy, I don't know. There's so many stories.
Well, historically though, this is really the bread and butter of the Marine Corps. Now, as I look at this, then one of these, the gentleman that you just pointed out, was also involved with the first raising of the flag. Is that correct?
I don't know.
His name, Cruz
Charlot.
Charlo, his name, I think, appears on that picture.
Oh, yes. But I don't think it's him.
Oh, you don't, huh?
Nope.
Oh, okay. So that's just a mistake.
Hey, everything's so screwed up,
Oh, yeah.
nobody knows anything.
But you guys had gone down
We'd
before.
gone back down, and then E Company took a patrol of 40 men, and they went up and put up the first flag. Now, how Charlot, we followed them up, but I remember looking out from a foxhole while I was over to the left, seeing somebody putting up a flag. But I don't remember whether I wouldn't know if that's the first flag or the second flag.
Well, you saw all these pictures when you did that program here. Now this is where they took down the first flag and put up the second flag.
Right.
So, are you familiar with any of the people who said, take down that first flag and, put a bigger one up? Did you know those guys? That's what it's.
Well, I know Colonel Severance, who was the captain of E Company. He's still active. Lives in La Jolla. was his company that was given credit for raising both flags, okay, his patrols.
Was he the one that said, "I want a bigger flag up there"? Or?
No, that was, I think that was the colonel in charge of the 28th, Liversedge, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, no, you don't realize how much confusion goes on, because they tried to get the names of these people who raised the flags, and Severance was, it tells about it in here, I think, one book. I've got several books, but he didn't want anything to do about that. By that time, we'd moved onto the north part of the island, and he was trying to fill holes, and last thing he wanted to do is to try to figure out who raised his damn flag, you know.
Yeah.
But it became a political thing, you know,
Yeah.
because the guys who raised the first flag never got any recognition at all. The only ones that got any recognition were the ones who were in Joe Rosenthal's second flag raising. In fact, it was so confused that when the picture of the four of us was sent down to Guam, and Rosenthal's picture was sent down to Guam, they didn't have any names on it, but they had names on ours, because ours was posed and they got our names. I don't know if that picture was taken that afternoon or the next morning. I don't know.
Yeah.
They put our names on the famous flag raising. I've got some clippings, I don't know, from that book out there, that show us, the four of us, as the flag raisers on Joe Rosenthal's picture from the Topeka Daily News or
Oh yeah.
whatever, you know. But
So
that
you-
wasn't true.
You must have gotten a few comments from your relatives and
Oh,
friends
yeah,
back
oh,
in Kansas about
Yeah, it took me a long time. It took me 40 years to get it straightened out with them.
that.
You know, so because there's a quote, not in this book, it's that other book, by a guy in the back cover of that book. It says that if everybody who claims that they were on Suribachi when they raised the flag, if everybody'd been there, the mountain would have sunk into the ocean. So, there you go.
Now, they pull your battalion then off of Suribachi. Is that when?
We rested 3 or 4 days down at the bottom.
Uh-huh. And refitted? Did you get replacements then?
I think maybe we did. Yeah, no, I know we did.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we got some replacements.
So we're looking at what, D+7 or 8 now?
We had D+9, we started moving up north to take over next to the ocean on the left-hand side, moving up the island.
Uh-huh. And
And D+10, we went into the line, and I saw a few Japs then. I didn't see the one that shot me, but I got shot, wounded on D+10. Probably, I don't know, around noon, something like that. Got shot in the leg.
were you advancing at the time? Were you?
Well, we were kind of attacking a pillbox, and I was kind of up high, and I should have been down. I was standing up, or maybe crouching or something. I should have been flat on my stomach, and I got a wound. I called it my $1 million wound, because it got me off the island.
Sure, you got.
That was right below my knee, left knee, and it didn't, just went right on through. Fractured the tibia or fibia or something, tibia I think it is.
And so, did the group that you were with, your squad, just keep going, or did they pick you up and a couple guys bring you back, or how did they?
They called for the stretcher bearer, and the stretcher bearer got me down to the beach,
And
and so
Then-
I was evacuated.
and where'd they take you to after that?
Guam,
Went back to Guam.
went back to Guam. I was there
Was
two-
that on a ship again on LST or?
It was a makeup. That's not the word. It was a hospital ship, but it wasn't a hospital ship. It was a hospital ship that was being used as a hospital ship, but
Yeah.
it was just a regular thing.
Well, it was,
And I got aboard ship, and the doctor looked at my wound and sprinkled some sulfa powder on it and says, "Hop over that boat," because he was working on guys with shrapnel. And, well, he didn't want to waste any time on me. So
you got triaged then over to.
Yeah, right. Went down to Guam. Was in a hospital in Guam there for, I don't know, 3-4 days. They said, we can't carry you down there, but anybody that can hop or whatever, there's a ship that's leaving for Pearl Harbor. And so we hopped down there.
Set a hopping record.
Yeah. And so we got into Pearl Harbor. And they said, hospitals are all filled. We don't know for sure, but we'll know in the morning. We may have to send you back to Oakland. So we spent the whole night praying. And fortunately, we got sent back to Oakland. And
So that, now, have they operated on your leg? And
didn't need any operation.
it didn't
The
even,
bullets gone on through. Yeah.
but they didn't have to set it or do anything?
No.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good luck for you.
Yeah, that's right. And it was sore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got into Oakland, and we were there 2 or 3 days, got some liberty. Then we were sent to, let's say we, I'm not sure everybody was, I was anyway. Sent to a naval hospital that just opened up in Corvallis, Oregon. Camp Adair, where an Army division had just left and gone to Europe shortly before that. So we were in a little naval hospital there.
While you're going through these various medical facilities, are you with guys that were wounded in your company and in your?
No,
I mean,
I don't.
you're just with strange people now, and
No, I don't think there was anybody that was really a friend of mine or close by friend that I went not up in Corvallis. You get acquainted with people.
yeah,
There I think were some guys, maybe one guy from my battalion or something like that.
yeah.
But a mixture.
But strange, you're not with
No,
a
my
buddy or-
my buddies
yeah.
are both killed.
yeah.
Okay. So we got up there, and I was up there for a little while. I got whatever they call a recuperative leave, and I went down. My mother was out in Santa Barbara by that time. I went down there, and then I went back up to Camp Adair there, and I had a job guarding German prisoners who were in the hospital there. There are a lot of German prisoners that they brought up to, what a great place to bring them, up to Corvallis, and they were working in the hops fields, the Germans were.
In the hops.
In the hops, yeah.
Now, did your mother get the duty telegram? You know, your son was wounded. In
Oh,
action?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Now, what time period are we in now? In, you know, in
well, we
45.
went up, yeah, we're in the spring of 45. We went up to Corvallis. I think it was Easter of the spring of 45, and Okinawa was just being invaded. that time. So,
I heard that a lot of the, not a lot, but some of the German prisoners didn't go back to Germany.
oh, I'm sure.
You know, that they elected to try to
Yeah.
stay.
They
Did
can
you,
live it here.
were they speaking any of them English, or were you kind of separated by language and?
Yeah, we were separated by language, using sign language. But, you know, these were guys that were sick for some reason or other.
Yeah.
A little bit, mostly in the hospital, and they needed a guard. They weren't going anyplace. Where would they go? But they needed a guard.
Yeah.
Got my 45 again at one point, or a 45. Anyhow, I finally, by that time, I was put on limited duty, and I was now eligible for my 30-day leave. I had my convalescent leave, so I ended up getting, in that period of time, 3 years, I got 3 legitimate 30-day leaves and 1 29-day illegitimate leave. Some people can't believe that, because they were overseas for 3 or 4 years and never did. They got 1 leave.
So what rank are you now that?
I'm still a PFC.
You're still private, huh?
Acting corporal.
Acting corporal, okay.
Yeah. They never forgave me for that. But that didn't bother me too much.
Yeah.
I was glad to be alive and back in the United States. And so I went down to Camp Pendleton after I'd had my other leave, and I got assigned back to Camp Elliott, working in the staff NCO mess, bartender on the staff NCO mess. Best deal I ever had.
I was gonna say, wow.
That's where I entered the war.
Yeah.
And I got discharged pretty early because I had a lot of points, and I was.
Now, how'd that point system work? Can you remember that?
No, you got so many points for each month overseas, and.
Yeah, combat zone and.
Combat zone, you
Yeah,
got
they're all
a
kind of-
bonus or something. I had
Yeah.
lots of points.
Yeah. So you were discharged from Camp Elliott?
Camp Pendleton.
Camp
Yeah,
Pendleton.
Yeah.
And so then what happened?
Well, I went back to college.
You versed Kansas?
No, I went back to Santa Barbara.
Santa Barbara College?
Yeah, my older brother, next brother, lived in Santa Barbara, and so I went to University of California in Santa Barbara. And he was agency manager for State Farm Insurance. So I became a part-time State Farm agent when I was in college. And I liked that, but like you like the Marine Corps, I spent 45 years with them.
Great. And you, somewhere along the line, you must have gotten interested in girls again.
Well, I never really lost interest. There were a few months there where there weren't many around.
Or you didn't date anyone on Okinawa or Iwo Jima or any of those places?
I laugh at this. What's this flyer? This series?
Oh, Jag?
No,
Yeah.
the World War II series of the flyer.
Don Winslow of the Navy?
No,
Black Sheep?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, Black
Jackie
Sheep's
Boynton,
Water.
yeah.
God, they got nurses running all over the place there. I never saw anything like that. But they were down there in that. Supposedly they were down in the Solomons, you know.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
So you became
I became a State Farm Insurance agent after I got out of college. I
in Santa
graduated-
Barbara?
Yeah.
And
I graduated with an econ major. I was an agent there for a while, and then I went into management. And as a sales manager, per se. And I spent, well, as I said, the last 11 years, I went back as an agent here in Palm Desert. And
now, you did get married
yeah, got married, 4 kids, met my wife in college.
at Santa Barbara.
Right.
Was she a California girl?
She was from Santa Ana.
Okay. And 4 kids,
4 kids. Yeah.
grandkids,
Got 2 grandkids now.
2 grandkids.
Yeah.
Did your duty.
Yeah, right.
Okay. And
That's what I said the other day. When I talked down below here, said I had 4 kids, and then my wife finally told me what was causing it. Anyhow.
wasn't the volcanic ash in your shoes, right?
No. No.
I would like to take a minute.
Let me go use the restroom someplace.
Oh.
You got one upstairs here?
No, we just go right downstairs.
I know where that is. Turn that thing off for a little while.
I gotta
Okay,
remember which button to press here. I think this is.
there it goes. The red's blinking.
It's blinking.
It's blinking.
Oh, okay.
And I was gonna say, and I see Ted in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut this door. What I wanted to do is just take a minute and I pulled out one of the Marines that I know love this little guy.
Oh, that's the carbon.
And I'm wondering if,
I've forgotten what, it's gotten heavier.
yeah,
I'm not quite as strong as I was in those days either.
and I'm wondering,
Is that an 03 there?
I don't think so. I think it's a Japanese weapon. And I wanted to see if you recognize any of these and what your thoughts were on them. You know,
Well, this was a good weapon,
and
carbon.
I noticed in a lot of the pictures guys are carrying, besides the M1, there are a lot of guys with the Thompson machine gun
Yeah.
and and what made that one so popular, this little
Lightweight,
and
lightweight, and that was the main thing. Yeah.
and how big a clip would that hold? Can you remember?
Well, M1 held 8. I think it held. I don't really remember. More than that, I think 10 maybe.
Yeah, it had a big clip.
Yeah.
And but this was a different size round to the M1. You couldn't put an M round in this one, could you?
No.
So,
You ever heard of the rising gun?
oh, was that the machine gun, the Thompson?
Well, it's supposed to be a little machine gun for the paratroops, but you couldn't hit your broadside of the barn with the damn thing.
Was it a
Because it was lightweight.
Uh-huh.
It had a folding stock,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and, but it was terrible. It would rise with you.
Well,
They got rid of those.
I saw the, with these things, did you tear down the carbine the same way you tore down the M1?
Oh, I think so. I never had a carbine.
You never carried one, huh?
Uh-uh.
It was always,
Well, as I said, I don't remember that I did.
I saw this back there, and I was just wondering if this was one of the Japanese machine guns.
Uh-huh.
Whether you would recognize this. It doesn't have Japanese markings on it that I noticed, and I'm just wondering whether it's something that you recognized.
Well, I did not. I wasn't into going around looking for souvenirs.
Okay,
In fact, my best friend, who got killed later,
did you see many of these?
yeah, I saw a lot of them lying around, right?
Would you have to be a certain rank as a Japanese
Oh, I think so. I
to
think
carry a
that's,
sword? You know,
I think that's an officer's sword, probably.
so, and they got pretty good with these, didn't they?
I guess. I didn't want to find out. I never found out about that.
Okay.
Anyhow, Scotty, he was a guy that we took the illegitimate vacation together. After we went up, after Suribachi, we were down at the bottom of the hill resting before we moved to the north. He went out souvenir hunting and went down a hole that we saw just down from us there. And he wanted me to go, and I said, no way, I'm tired now, I'm rest. Anyhow, somebody was still down in there, and they threw a hand grenade in him, and he got evacuated with shrapnel in his cheek. But it wasn't bad enough, so he got sent back and got killed later on. But
Well, could you get stuff home? I mean, how could you came back with a duffel bag, and that was about it, didn't it?
I didn't have a duffel bag.
I mean, what did you come home with, if anything?
Nothing.
That's what well, you were medevac.
The guys that did that were not front-line riflemen.
Yeah, the souvenir collectors.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, they were in They were in headquarters company or either further back than that, or a sailor that came
Traded.
ashore. Or,
Yeah.
But I was evacuated with nothing. I didn't have anything. My sea bag didn't catch up with me until, God, I don't remember. Until I was down in Camp Elliott, I think.
Mhm.
Because my pack, it was gone.
Yeah, everything that you owned was somewhere back on Iwo Jima.
Yeah, I didn't have anything.
They had nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't. Do you have questions you would like to
I think we've covered the water.
ask anymore? I'm kind of. I wanted to. I think that's a Japanese rifle. I wanted to, and I think
Ask
these
some
are
questions on that, yeah.
Japanese cartridge holders, but I am not sure. Do you recognize any of this?
No.
Okay. So I was just curious because it was not familiar to
You
me.
got any sake?
Sake, yeah.
Did you find a few bottles of
Yeah,
that?
we found a few of those up on the mountain. Up on Suribachi there. In fact, we spent that night up there. And scared to death that night, but they had taken off. During that night, they had left, or of course a lot of them committed suicide down in their big cavern down underneath the mountain. But I don't know. There were a few, but I didn't see any.
Well, Ed, I want
After
to thank
that.
you.
Huh?
I want to thank you for taking the
Yeah.
time to come in.
Well,
There are 3 tapes in here.